question for you, Joel.
Okay, let's hear it. What you got?
Did Adam really name every single animal on Earth?
Well, yes and no. Because, yes, he did originally, at that time, he did name every animal that God created. I do believe so, with maybe a couple of exceptions here. So, one definite exception, not every species there is today. So, there's been more species and things and yada, yada.
Sure.
Okay. So, that part's out. And then there wouldn't have been time for a lot of cross, like a lion and a tiger. They come together and make the biggest cat there is, the liger, that wouldn't have existed. Okay.
Wouldn't have the liger yet.
Right. Things like that. Pokemon didn't exist yet. Okay.
Now, would there just been a cat?
So I do believe that there would have been like one cat kind, one dog kind, most likely. Not the hill I would die on. We're getting that from like what would be on Noah's Ark kind of idea. So, that's a tricky one. But the part that
they would have been the perfect species. Yeah, it's not species. the perfect embodiment of their kind.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no corruption yet or anything. That's wonderful. Now, of course, the whole point of that was to show Adam that he had a need.
Yeah.
He needed his
Jobs
counterpart, the wife. So that's important. So I don't think it necessarily had to be every living thing in existence. So I don't know as if, like, maybe
now
every little flying insect.
Now, when you say Adam had a need, does that mean things weren't perfect?
It was the first thing that was not good, was that he was alone. Man was alone.
True.
So, yes.
We got to fix that. Got to fix that
well,
right away.
It's kind of like, the day one of creation. Was everything perfect? Like day two, it was all good, but perfect carrying the idea of complete, whole. Well, there was still more to create. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea. And that's why it was it said very good after the first marriage with Adam and Eve. Because then everything was perfectly whole and complete at that time. So then, maybe there wasn't like every single little flying insect that came by. Maybe not. I'd be more okay with saying yes with that. The part that I'm confused about, which I think that maybe he didn't, was all the water creatures. Because that doesn't seem like that's a part of it.
Does it list water creatures when it says like? Doesn't it just say like things on Earth basically? Doesn't it?
Well, you mean when creation?
No, when it lists what Adam actually named.
Well, it doesn't really. Yeah, I mean, it gives them general categories. The thing with that is you have to think about what those categories meant to those people at that time. So that was a little different than today.
True.
So then, like a bird could even be a bat. Like a bird is like a flying thing. So we have different classification systems now. So that's not really fair. So, if you go to that, let's see, that would be in verse 18, 19.
It's in Genesis.
Chapter 2. And so then it talks about, he says, now out of the ground, this is verse 19 of chapter 2, the Lord God had formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. So it doesn't name a water type creature.
It doesn't say water, yeah.
It's basically the flying stuff.
The stuff you see.
And the beasts of the field. It doesn't say like the creepy crawly things. And so I think it was rather selective. Yeah. And it was just to kind of prove a point to Adam. I don't think the whole point was that every single thing that was living should have a name from Adam at that point in time. But just that, hey, look at how everything has a counterpart. A thing that balances it.
You don't think the point was to name them. You think the point was that Adam would fill his need for a wife.
Right. The naming was the means of getting him to that end. That's what I would say. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
There you go.
All right. Let's hear in the comments. Was Joel stumped or not?
Yeah, does he have like not a clue at all and just babbling?
He's just making it up.
Yeah.